go ahead and read off the rules for the candidate forum. Each candidate will present a 2-minute opening statement. Each candidate will have a maximum of 2 minutes to reply to all questions. The 6 questions below have been given in advance, actually 5 questions below have been given in advance to the candidates. Each candidate will have the opportunity for a 2-minute closing statement. A timekeeper, which is Karen tonight, will give a 30-second and a 10-second remaining warning during the forum. And we'll go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and start. Oh, let me introduce. I'm sorry. On the left, we have Darren McElfresh, and the standing current Superior Judge candidate is Chris Doehle. Thank you both for attending.
My pleasure.
All right. So we'll start with the first question, and we're going to start with you, Chris.
2 minutes.
Oh, I did the same thing Paul did, and I said I wasn't going to do it.
And ladies first.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead and start with the opening statement, please.
Well, thank you very much for attending tonight. It's a small crowd, but you're to be commended for your interest and your participation.
Move closer to you.
Is this better? I'm Judge Chris Doehle, and I am the judge. I've been the judge in Doehle County since 2012. I'm one of 2 judges. We have a small superior court, and our judges hear everything. We get to hear everything from criminal matters to civil matters to every type of dispute that comes before the court. I also sit on the appellate panel for our court, so appeals that arise out of criminal and civil cases that are heard by the local appellate panel. I also sit on the appellate panel for Humboldt County, and I decide writ cases. To become the judge, I went through an appointment process. The appointment process was merit-based. It was conducted as a by a nonpartisan body called the Commission, the Judicial Nomination Evaluation Commission, and the process took over a year, and I was selected to be the judge. I was sworn in, and I've acted as the judge since then. Prior to becoming the judge, I was an attorney in Doehle County for 21 years in private practice. I believe I'm the right person to do the job. I've been doing the job. I'm the only person has the experience to do the job. I have the qualities that a judge needs to possess in order to decide matters. I also work in collaboration with other courts. I've been endorsed by other judges as well as the local tribes who have tribal courts, both the Spit River Rancheria and the Yurok tribe. I've been in this community. I moved here in 1990. My husband's a native Del Norte. We've raised our family here. I'm very honored to serve as your judge.
Well, thank you. My name is Darren McElfresh. Can you hear me okay? And I'm running for judge as well. Back here, I have my lovely family. My children are born and raised here. I've been here since 1994, practicing law since '97 for 17 years. I have been in the courts literally every day, dealing with all cases, all types of cases, from murder cases to civil cases. And in this rural community, the cases that we deal with the most is crime, criminal cases. And that's what affects most people. On a daily basis, you can open up the triplicate, and what you see on the front page recently, crime, another robbery, another burglary. It affects everybody. And that's why a qualified judge in our community needs to be well-versed in criminal law. They need to have defended criminals, they need to prosecute criminals, they need to do everything in between that. And that way, they'll become much more qualified to understand the process, be able to understand it's really a big decisions that have to be made because you're dealing with very dangerous people. You make a mistake and they get released prematurely, or you make an error in judgment, because you don't know what works, because you haven't done it before. It could cost big in our community. You have a drunk drive out there and kill your family or commit further robberies, those kind of things. For the past 17 years, I've probably handled about 8,000 hearings in this court. Over 100 trials. One thing you will not hear from the opposition is the fact, prior to taking the bench, I'm not aware of her ever doing a jury trial. Not aware of her ever handling a criminal case, and that's a problem here. When you elect an official, they need to actually improve our community, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the revolving door of hardened criminals. That's my job. I'm also going to implement and break that cycle by bringing what we call youth intervention programs. Hit the veterans intervention for children, identify them early, as well as substance abuse. I'm out of time, but if you want to, I'll be happy to ask more of the things I'm going to do. Come on by my booth.
I'd like to remind everybody to please either turn off your cell phones or silence them for us so we don't interrupt them during their questions. Okay, Chris, we're going to start with you for the first question. Do you believe the war on drugs has been effective or ineffective? What else could be done?
Well, I'm going to answer this as a judge. I think we could all answer it in various ways, as community members, as parents, as members of families and people in our community.
Would you speak up, please?
Yes, thank you. I'd be happy to. Can you hear me better now?
A little better, thank you. A little hard hearing back here.
Well, and you're not that far back, so.
You guys are speaking pretty softly.
Okay. I think that one of the things that's very impactful when you come through the court system is to look at the impact that drugs has on our community as well as on every type of case I hear. I cannot think of a calendar that I do, whether it's a civil or a criminal calendar or any other case that isn't affected by drugs. Even things like family law matters or custody matters or grandparents raising kids or juvenile dependency matters. Drugs pervades our community. It affects everything. It's one of the reasons why we have one of the highest child abuse rates in the state. It's one of the reasons why we have so many offenders who keep coming back to court who are recidivists. So the impact is there. When you look at the statistics nationally and in the state, over half of federal prisoners are on drug-related charges. So when you ask what else can be done, I think first you need to look at what is working and what's not working, and to evaluate those programs that do seem to work to treat people who are drug offenders and those that don't. I think we need to look at non-traditional programs. We need to look at things that we can afford to provide. I think we've had good success with the drug court model, with the wellness courts that are being done by our tribes. And there's so much more to say, but I'm out of time.
Do you need me to say the question again?
No. Can you hear me better this way?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to actually answer this question coming from 17 years of experience dealing with substance abuse clients. In that time, I've seen the majority of felonies committed, about 90% of them deal with substance abuse. We currently have in our community a major issue with methamphetamine. It's controlled by the Mexican drug cartels and the distribution of it in our community. We have a major problem with them also controlling huge marijuana grows out in our public lands that need to be eradicated. So that's my answer. Are we successful? Well, I think it's quite clear. We also have a huge problem with our prison gangs. We have Pelican Bay up here, and you have all the heads of our prison gangs, the shot callers up here. You have a problem with drug smuggling into our prison. And unlike my opposition, I will not treat that lightly. When you send a message to drug smugglers up here and you grant them probation, we have to deter that kind of behavior, and that's one of the sentencing elements we look at. Getting a grant of probation sends a wrong message to those kind of people. It allows the gangs to think it's open season, for instance, on correctional officers in the prison, and that's definitely the wrong message. It's going to be a lot tougher than the current stance is on those kind of issues. And I think we've got to turn it around. The rate of recidivism in the federal is 50%. Well, it's a lot higher down here. Okay, those are the wrong statistics because we're talking about Delmarva County. We definitely need to interrupt and break that cycle and have a plan to do that by introducing youth intervention programs and drug treatment, which they're not currently doing in this court system. My opposition's been in office for a year and a half, and she hasn't done that yet. Well, that's one of the first things I'm going to do if elected. Thank you.